welcome back to Ride with Joe. Your fractional marketing technology and data strategy expert. So today we are going to be taking a ride from the Junction Triangle / Wallace Emerson neighborhood to the downtown Toronto core on University Avenue. And today's topic is BAPA. So BAPA is my second of a series of accelerators I've built recently. It stands for Brand AI Perception Analytics. And I'm going to talk about what it does and why it's relevant for anyone who has a brand, whether it's a personal brand or an enterprise brand, one that you work for. But most of what I'm going to be talking about is not BAPA per se, but what was kind of the patterns and the techniques and why did I build BAPA the way I did? Because I think it's relevant for the way solutions like this are going to start looking now that we're into this world of taking LLMs, taking AI agents, and putting them really into production, making them work for us, especially in the enterprise. And so I think it's a repeatable pattern. I'll explain why I built BAPA in the way I did in order to have it a scalable and sustaining solution in an organization. And I think there's a lot that can be repeated there outside of BAPA for other solutions. So before we get into the why and seeing how BAPA might apply to your own projects, let's talk about what BAPA is and what it does. So BAPA is looking to solve some problems that I've seen solved elsewhere, but just not quite packaged the way that I was looking for. So where BAPA fits under the category of an emerging new field of what some have coined generative engine optimization, sort of the new search engine optimization, or SEO. So we moved from SEO to this new world of geo is what's happening here. And so geo is the way that we think about optimizing our digital presence to be seen, heard, and understood by AI agents, the ChatGPTs of the world, Claude, and so on. And so if you're looking to solve that problem today from the perspective of, is my brand even visible at all? If I put in prompts, do I come up? Am I a recommendation? There are software as a service solutions for that I stopped counting after a while. There's no shortage of those. So they're lightweight. You can sign up instantly, see the results, and you can start to get that visibility. So it's giving you that, what's your brand, and kind of how competitive are you? Is your visibility across different AI agents, different LLMs, and for some of them over time as well. So that exists. If you were looking to build your own, there are open source libraries that can do that for you as well. So definitely solutions out there, but not quite what I was looking for with BAPA. So I mentioned the software as a service solutions. So those will definitely get you that initial visibility, but they you're really, the user experience that you get is really the end result only, which is the dashboard, the metrics, the results there. If you're looking to integrate that with the rest of your workflow or other investments you've made, it's not really, most of those solutions are not well suited for that. You are, once you get past the free tier, these solutions, they have to pay for them, and while it might be small, I mean, it starts to add up when you pay, when you start adding, tens of different software as a solution offerings. Things get rather complicated. They can get expensive over time. If you wanted to build your own, then there are open source solutions that will do a lot of what BAPA does. So reaching out to multiple LLMs, multiple AI agents, and asking brand questions, prompting and storing those results. Trouble is that it's very code heavy, right? So it's kind of more of a developer tool. So if you are wanting to maintain a solution like that, essentially in a notebook with code that looks like this, through the magic of editing, I'll put up a notebook. So if you want to run that code in something like a Databricks or Snowflake, great. That's a valid option. But I don't think it's the best one, especially for a topic that is so fast changing. And to give you an idea of what I mean by that, if you look at one of the earlier accelerators that I built on this topic, which I coined as more of a forensics tool under an umbrella of tools I call, it's emerging here, called agentography. Things change week to week, and being able to respond to how LLMs are behaving and changing, I think it's important for that to be as close to business, close to what a marketer or a kind of a digital analytics or growth leader should be closer to them, so they can react to it. Otherwise, you've got a lot of code, a lot of pipeline, not a lot of insights, not a lot of ability to adapt to what's happening. So with BAPA, it's really close in terms of what those open source solutions do. So same capabilities in terms of, okay, I want to test some prompts, I want to store them, I want to see how I perform across different LLMs, and I want to have it, I want to own the data. It's not, hiding behind some black box on a SaaS solution. So for BAPA, it's built with a technology called KNIME. So this pop on the screen here, what a KNIME workflow looks like. So when I built BAPA, there's very little code. I can't actually think of any instance where I had to write any code. The complete solution was done in more or less a point and click fashion. So really just kind of dragging in these different nodes to to build the solution that I needed for this, not just a one-time inquiry of how's my brand performing, but really an ongoing one. So one it's polling every day, or whatever interval I set, and it's storing those results. And so I have a history of that. Uh, so that's what BAPA does. If you want to try it out, it's free. I've published it. We're just going to take a bit of a detour here through Trinity Bellwoods Park. It's a nice day, so we can maybe take a leisurely ride through here. Yeah, so BAPA is it's free, and I'll include links here where you can download the workflow and also the application you need to run it, which is Nime, which comes in different flavors, including an open source one that's so in theory you can run this entirely with zero cost. You could run it on your laptop if you wanted to, and of course there's commercial offerings if you want to host that in the cloud or collaborate. So lots of options there. So as we take this detour here, I'll switch into kind of the why I built it in with a certain way. But if you need to see more detail, there's a post on BAPA and where to get it. You can grab that in the link in the video comments here. And there's a blog post that goes into detail. So if we look at BAPA as kind of a template for other solutions in the enterprise, and also the organizations that are aspiring to have some enterprise-like controls and workflows. You know um, what's baked into the to make it relevant. So the first thing is in terms of where the outputs of BAPA go, they don't exist in the software as a solution environment where they're kind of isolated. It doesn't exist as part of some developer database that's sitting on wherever you ran an open source code-heavy version of this. The outputs of BAPA are set to go to an investment that's already there for many organizations that are doing digital analytics and web analytics. And in this case, I've set BAPA up to output to BigQuery. And why? Because BigQuery is really the preferred platform for many digital analytics teams. They've got data that's such as the web traffic activity that's already there. So it only makes sense to have it land there. Of course, I could have picked other destinations. They're equally well supported, but that's why I picked BigQuery. And BAPA doesn't just kind of dump the results there. BAPA is, although it's not really designed for hardcore data engineers in mind, It is doing things that a hardcore data engineering team, which you'd find in a team supporting um, a lake house, data lake, warehouse, those sorts of environments by a centralized IT team. It's playing along with and being nice with their standards, what they expect. So it's doing things like aligning with medallion-based architecture, so bronze, silver, gold. And what you'll see in BAPA is the gathering of the results of the prompts from the LLMs. It's landing in a bronze schema, so that's kind of the more raw form. And then we start to enrich it. So we are doing things like sentiment analysis. We're doing a ranking. So where does a brand position itself relative to others when it's mentioned? And it's doing that in a silver schema in a way that is organized that a data engineer, someone supporting a warehouse, is more likely to understand, respect, and use. Um, so it's much easier to collaborate with that type of team. And so it's just really just some good, some kind of housekeeping and data standards that are baked into that they would expect to see. So we have things like unique identifiers for when an LLM was queried to say, hey, what's the best restaurant or the best brand for a certain category? So we know when it was captured, we know what we asked, and that's all locked in there. And we can see where it came from, so which workflow. And so what all that does is it increases that trustability. Not sure where this guy's going. I don't trust him. So don't trust the truck, but a data engineer is much more likely to trust what's coming up out of BAPA, build on it, integrate with it, especially since it's sitting in a place where they've already made investments in this area. It's already sitting in the place where they're doing the digital analytics in the first place. So it allows you to link up the brand perception insights you're getting from BAPA with what's hitting the website kind of before and during and after any changes you're seeing. So it's in the right place. It's storing that data in a way that's understood and respected by other types of users, other stakeholders. Always a good thing. So that means that these results, you're able to consume them in whatever the preferred business intelligence or BI tool you have is. So if it's a Tableau or Power BI, that's great. You can use those or BigQuery itself. And this allows you to map out what's happening to your brand perception over time. What are the changes? Okay, so we're in the right place. We are respecting our peers in other departments. We are recording what's happening with that brand perception over time. But we're also interacting with various AI agents, various LLMs, and we also need a record of how we're interacting with them, how the solution's built to capture this information. In particular, for that silver layer, where we're doing the enrichment, because we're actually using a prompt to further enrich our first prompt. So at the bronze layer, our first prompt is, okay, what's the best restaurant in Toronto? Is it this one over here? Is it Figo? We're capturing that. That's a pretty straightforward prompt. But on the silver layer, we're doing the enrichment. So we're doing things like sentiment analysis. We're doing the ranking, the urgency. We're summarizing what's in that prompt. That's something you don't want to lose track of for explainability reasons. So in that case, what we have is really the NIME workflows are the place where we have a record of how we're interacting with those LLMs at every stage, whether it's the bronze or that silver enrichment phase. And you don't want to lose sight of that. So with the NIME workflow, we've got a visual way of explaining how we interacted with that LLM, how we extracted the outputs of that, because it's really essential for that trustability of the result, how we got to that, and the reproducibility as best we can when working with LLMs, which is challenging at the best of times. So we've got a visual record of that with that diagram, and that's something that we can store over time. So we can say, well, is this a legitimate loss in brand ranking, or did we change something in our how we measure? And so there's a distortion here. And because we're using a visual method for interacting with that LLM as opposed to burying that prompt in code somewhere, it's much easier for business users to kind of retroactively go back and answer a question like that and say, well, actually, it looks like we changed our enrichment rules slightly this week, and that's why we've seen a change here. Because working with LLMs is complicated, so the more creature comforts you can have to visualize how you're working with that LLM, how you're generating these prompts, the better. It really humanizes it. And in the case of NIME, there's dedicated nodes on the canvas that you're able to use to work with the various LLMs in a consistent way. So it's kind of LLM agnostic, and changes to the prompts and the automations you're tying that into are much easier. So I picked NIME for this solution, but I did consider some alternatives. So one solution that I think is worth mentioning, because I think they're doing a great job of positioning themselves as the visual human experience for working with LLMs. And that's n8n.io. It's a nice looking tool. They've got some great content and around how they're really that kind of visual and human way of interacting with these LLMs, which I think is great. And it would be my first choice if what I was working on was something for my own personal consumption, or something that was really about kind of coordinating a bunch of lightweight, low volume data where it's kind of more quick handoffs without too much transformation. So in other words, if I wasn't doing anything too analytical, I think it'd be a fantastic choice. So the reason I picked KNIME is it's much stronger on, maybe not always as pretty, but much stronger on the ability to transform and prepare data for a problem like this. A lot more flexible, while keeping things suitable for a less technical user. So as I said, everything in the solution more or less, with BAPA, it was almost exclusively point and click. And for the things like I mentioned, for getting the outputs of an accelerator like this in a way that's suitable for sharing with other parts of the organization, like those data engineers I mentioned, KNIME was the better choice for being able to do things like generate unique identifiers and do some of the grouping and just some very light kind of data wrangling to make it more useful across the organization, more trustable. I probably could have solved the problem with N8N, but I probably would have gotten stuck with having to write some pretty ugly JavaScript, to be honest, in parts of the solution. So that's why I avoided that. But again, it's BAPA. If you think about how is it applicable for your own projects, or what can you get as a kind of inspiration from this? Obviously, take a look at some of the more in-depth materials that I've linked here. But what I'm hoping you'll see is this kind of humanization of how we work with LLMs, and that common language, I think, is the visual, is the workflow. That's what humans understand well, at least ones that are not looking at code all day. And me personally, if I was responsible for maintaining a solution like this as kind of a vacation relief, or let's say someone's out sick and I need to understand how something was built, how it works really quickly, I'm going to want that to be a visual solution. And so that's the other reason that it's not just that the visual is preferred between humans and LLMs, but also human to human. especially in these, oh no, the guy who built this is away on vacation. I need to fix it, or I need to enhance it, or they've moved on and there wasn't any knowledge transfer. So hopefully, if you made it this far, you're interested to take a deeper dive into it. I encourage you to do so, and reach out. I'd like to thank everyone who gave me feedback on the first ride with Joe. Hopefully, you can hear and see and appreciate the upgrade in sound and video quality here. It's still a work in progress, but hopefully we're headed in the right direction. And the last kind of analogy I'll mention before signing off is obviously there's a lot of innovation happening with AI, LLMs. Let's empower the business people to have more control over how these things are used. Let's do that in a visual way, and let's not get into these traps of too much code, too many critical business functions, and where we need agility hiding in code. This is early days. I think of it as this is the MySpace phase of working with LLMs in the enterprise. So we've got quite a few evolutions to go, but I truly believe that it's once we figure this out, it's going to look a lot more human, a lot more visual, and I'm excited to see the changes. So this has been Ride with Joe. Thanks for riding with me, and please leave your comments on what you think of BAPA, what you think of visual ways of working with LLMs, what you think is going to happen, and any suggestions on how I can improve my gear here for a smoother ride and audio for you guys.